Hello, everyone. Very good evening. My name is Payal, and I welcome you all to We Talk to You, a show by Puberty to Menopause, a public health awareness initiative by Human Biologicals Institute. Human Biologicals Institute is a division of Indian Immunologicals Limited, IIL, which was established by the National Dairy Development Board in the year 1982 and later as a company in the year 1999. HPI was established in the year 1998 when the Government of India requested IIL to produce a modern tissue culture anti rabies vaccine. The first manufacturing facility of HPI was established at Ooty. The facility is one of its kind in India to have rolled out first Vero cell culture rabies vaccine in the year 2000. Subsequently, Human Biologicals Institute launched other vaccines, and currently we are the major player in human vaccines. We're leader in anti-rabies vaccine segment and present in around 60 countries with three state-of-the-art manufacturing facilities at Ooty, Gachibowli and Karkapatla. HBI has forayed into the market of clinically proven wellness products and infertility range of hormones. Our vision is shaping global healthcare by spearheading the One Health initiative, innovate, produce, and market quality healthcare products and services to improve and extend lives. We believe in providing affordable products with high quality through continuous technical innovations and improvements to meet our customers' needs. As a market leader, we feel very proud to share about our green initiative. By introducing eco-friendly packs of our flagship brand, we have taken a significant step to reduce the plastic burden by 160 tons per annum. As an organization, we take our corporate social responsibility very seriously. Either it's adoption of government schools, where IL is providing infrastructure and basic facilities include help in the midday meal program, in association with NDDB through programs of school-going children updated daily. We have recently donated an oxygen generation plant to TIMS. For more information, you can also log on to www.inhuman.com. Puberty to menopause is yet another corporate responsibility by Human Biologicals Institute to raise awareness about various health conditions for women. Through this show, we talk to you. We bring you expert healthcare practitioners from our country who can deliver you the authentic information right through this platform. So today we have joined to talk about a very topic. I'm sure there would be many ladies who would agree with me that the biological clock and the career clock kind of coincides. And there are a lot of ladies who would like to become a mother, who would want to to experience the joy of motherhood, but they would like to delay it a bit because of other commitments. So, with the advancement of science, there are a lot of options available that can help you to achieve your dream. So, today we are very honored to have a special guest with us who can help us to know more about cryopreservation. Please welcome Dr. Umesh Ramesh Marathe, gynecologist, endoscopic surgeon, and infertility specialist, Director, Life Care Hospital from Nasik. Dr. Marathe has been awarded and IVF treatment, fertility treatment in entire North Maharashtra for Sprouting Seeds IVF and Fertility is the best brand in the year 2019. Also been honored with Nasik Leadership in 2018 for Life Care Hospital. Gynecologist and laparoscopic surgeon Since 2015, performed more than 700 cases, including various issues. It's quite a few for about Dr. Marathe among many achievements that he has been in his lifetime, and I'm sure Dr. Marathe would help us to know more about the topic. So, Dr. Marathe, most welcome to the show today, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Payal. Yes,
So,
thank you for inviting me on this platform. And I would like to, thank your company also for creating such a good platform so that a lot of people will gain knowledge and a lot of questions can be asked and I can answer them. So thank you for inviting me once again.
thank you so much, Dr. Marathe. It's such a pleasure to have you today. And I'm sure, Dr. Marathe, coming straight to the topic for today, you would be seeing a lot of people, couple who would come to you on a daily basis talking about this particular and I'm sure a lot of people have already got this information from you. uh, can we get some more insights about what exactly do people should know about cryopreservation?
First of all, in simple language, if you want to explain cryopreservation, it's an preserving anything at an negative temperature. The temperature should be below minus 130 degree, right? It's like what we do in our household. We preserve some food in fridge. For that we require a temperature that is 0 degree, right? In cryopreservation, the the material which is cryopreserved, for example, since we are talking about fertility and problems related to females, in that case the material which is derived from the humans like female or male, for example sperms or eggs or embryos, which can be preserved at a very very low degree temperature, and then they can be recovered back again to the original form. Now this cryopreservation can be done in two ways, but now what in newer times it is done by a method called vitrification, in which what happens, the let us take the example of eggs. What we do, we take the eggs and then we suddenly reduce the temperature of that egg, and then we put that eggs into liquid nitrogen. The temperature of liquid nitrogen is minus 175 degree. Just imagine minus 175 degree, and that eggs are preserved. Now since the egg is very very fragile tissue of the body, that has to be protected with some protectant. So that
Right.
protectant can be a chemical like glycerol or dimethyl sulfoxide. Like these chemicals are that tissue which need to be preserved. For example, as I told you, eggs or spermatozoa, that has to be treated with this cryoprotectant, and then that has to be cryopreserved. Now this cryoprotectant protects these cells. As I told you, the eggs are very fragile. Since we don't want to uh, make ice in that tissue, because ice is going to damage that tissue, so we just uh, escape that ice formation, we directly make that into a glass like structure formation. So
Okay.
what happens, the egg is stored in the same uh, what biological condition which we retrieve from the female, and then that is cryopreserved. So whenever that egg is needed, we again thaw. Thawing is warming, like again warming to the normal room temperature. We thaw that egg and then we can use it. That is cryopreservation. I mean, if you ask me what is exactly cryopreservation, that is how it is. It's very what this technology has changed science a lot. And in, for example, in my fertility practice, it has made a big change. I mean, the patients are getting lots of benefit out of it. We'll talk about it later on.
Great. Now, coming to this particular point, like a lot of patients of yours have already, are getting benefited from this process. Coming to this, first of all, thank you so much for explaining the process of cryopreservation so simply. I'm sure even a layman could understand that. Before we begin talking about the next question that we have, I would like to request all our viewers who have joined us live today to stay with us till the end for a lot of interesting insights that Dr. Umesh is going to give us. And if you have any questions, please do put it in the comment section, and you can also inbox to us. I'm sure Dr. Marathe would love to answer all of them by end of this discussion. So, Dr. Marathe, you mentioned that a lot of people, a lot of patients of yours have already got benefit from cryopreservation as a process. Now, talking about who should use this, I had been saying for the ladies, other commitment, and would like to delay the process of conceiving. That is just one such use case, but there might be various medical conditions as well, right, where cryopreservation can help a couple. So give us more insights on that. Who should use this cryopreservation and how doctors decide?
Now, let me tell you a simple thing. For example, a couple comes to me and the husband is in army. Okay, he's an defense person. They get very less holidays and they cannot come to their native and stay for months together. And fertility is a process where only you get one day when the egg is formed in the female genital tract.
Right.
So that day has to be used properly. If the couple is infertile and that defense person goes back to the his posting place, it's very difficult for that couple to continue the treatment. And again, he comes to his native place after 1 year. So it becomes a very lengthy, and that is a big issue in the defense personnels. Now, what happens in this case? What we do, we preserve the semen sample of that person.
Okay.
Okay, so we can perform IUI in that lady. So what happens?
Okay.
Whenever he is there, we just ask him to give a few samples. We can preserve them, we can cryopreserve them, and we can keep that sample with us. And then if possible, when he is there, we can use his fresh sample. But if he goes away and his wife stays at his native place, in that case, we can stimulate her with the drugs, we can make her eggs, and on the particular day, we can inseminate that wife with that husband sample. This is all legally done with proper documentation, which the law which exists, the newer law which has just come in the June of this year, according to the law we need to do this. So that is how it helps in the couple if we go for that IUI process. But the benefit of this cryopreservation in terms of infertility has made a big change. You know, in previous day, few years back, when this cryopreservation technology was not available, what they used to do in IVF, as you know, for that female, if a certain female wants to take the undergo the procedures of IVF, in that case what we do, we start some injection on day 2 of the menstrual cycle,
Okay.
right? These injections are for the ovarian stimulation or hyperstimulation. So what we do in this case, we make multiple eggs in her ovaries. Nowadays law is that you should not make more than 8 or 9 eggs, right? So
Right.
we start the injection on day 2. Up to 9 days we give the injection. Then we just observe her or see her under ultrasonography. When the eggs are in proper sizes, that is 16 17 mm, we trigger that eggs. That means we give a final injection of maturation, and then we do the process of ovum pickup after 36 hours of giving that trigger injection. After 36 hours, when we retrieve the egg, okay, then we take the male sample, and then we do ICSI or we do some conventional IVF. And for example, we got 10 eggs, and out of that 8 are good, and we did a IVF, that means ICSI or conventional IVF, and we got 6 number of embryos, right? So what used to happen when there was no that this technology was not present in those days? All 5 or 6 eggs embryos they used to put in the uterus. So you might have heard that previously उसको 4 बच्चे हो गए, 5 बच्चे हो गए, 3 बच्चे रुक गए. So that was that story because there was no any method to cryo preserve these embryos which were formed.
Embryos.
तो पहले ऐसा भी 10 बच्चे भी होते थे। आई मीन उसके कॉम्प्लिकेशंस बहुत ज्यादा है, उसके प्रॉब्लम्स बहुत ज्यादा है, लेकिन ऐसा पेपर में भी आता था बिकॉज लॉ वॉज नॉट देयर. नाउ देयर इज लॉ इन आवर कंट्री. वी कैनॉट ट्रांसफर मोर देन 2 eggs. In rare case, we can transfer 3 embryos. So you cannot transfer more than 2 or more than 3. In few Western countries, the law is that you can only transfer 1 embryo, right?
Okay.
According to law, अभी उसके 6 अंडे बन गए, 6 eggs बन गए एंड एम्ब्रियोज बन गए, सॉरी. एंड आई इफ आई वांट टू ट्रांसफर 2 embryos, वो 4 embryos जो बचे हुए हैं, what should I do of that 4 embryos? Now I can cryopreserve that embryos. Okay.
Right.
So what happens? I put 2 embryos. If she get pregnant with these 2 embryos, तो बात खत्म, right? प्रेगनेंसी तो हो गई,
Right. Right.
लेकिन 4 हम एम्ब्रियो जो बचे हुए हैं हम वो क्रायोप्रिजर्व कर देंगे. ओके. अगर she is not positive in this cycle, I mean in this process, हमने 2 एम्ब्रियो डाले और उसका बीटा एसटीजी नेगेटिव आया, उसकी प्रेगनेंसी टेस्ट नेगेटिव है, तो व्हाट वी विल डू? इन नेक्स्ट साइकिल अगेन विल प्रिपेयर हर एंडोमेट्रियल लाइनिंग. कुछ मेडिसिन देके उसकी एंडोमेट्रियल लाइनिंग प्रिपेयर करेंगे और डे 12 या डे 14 को जो क्रायो प्रिजर्व किए हुए एम्ब्रियोज है दैट विल अगेन थॉ और उनको हम वापस डाल सकते हैं. बैड लक हुआ उसका, वापस सेकंड टाइम भी वो निगेटिव आ जाती है, तो थर्ड टाइम भी हम ये प्रोसेस कर सकते हैं. सो व्हाट हैपेंड, और समझ लो वो पहले ही साइकिल में पॉजिटिव आ जाती है. इफ शी गेट्स पॉजिटिव इन द फर्स्ट साइकिल, these embryos can be used after few years. 2 4 up to 10 years you can use these embryos. So देखो, after doing cryopreservation you can preserve that embryo up to 10 years. So
Okay.
so what happened, एक ही बार उसको स्टिमुलेशन देना पड़ा, एक ही बार उसको इंजेक्शंस लेने पड़े. बिकॉज ऑफ दैट, बिकॉज ऑफ दिस क्रायोप्रिजर्वेशन टेक्नोलॉजी, she no she don't need to undergo the same process again and again. जब cryopreservation नहीं था, there was no cryopreservation in during those days. उसके जितने एम्ब्रियोज बनते थे वो यूज कर लेते थे, नहीं तो बाकी के फेंक देते थे, आई मीन डिसइंटीग्रेट हो जाते थे. एंड अगेन इफ शी बिकम्स नेगेटिव, उसका प्रेगनेंसी टेस्ट पॉजिटिव नहीं आता था, तो वापस दे हैव टू स्टिमुलेट हर एंड अगेन द प्रोसेस हैज टू बी रिपीटेड. So that was expensive, painful, or mentally traumatizing. Like, so this has become very easy, and this cryopreservation is like a boon to humanity. I say, this is how it is done.
Absolutely.
So that is one thing that has make a change. Now the third most important thing, we are living in a very modern era where girls don't want to get married early, right? They want to make their career, and then they want to get married, and then they want to get pregnant. Even if they get married early, they don't want to get pregnant,
Right.
right? Because everybody wants to be self-sufficient. So we are in the very difficult situation now. What is happening? Because to complete our education and to have a settled job, उसका उम्र तो 30-32 हो जाता है.
Right.
Because to complete her professional courses she needs 28 years, uh, up to 28 years. Then 2 4 साल उसमें चले जाते हैं. अगर उसमें बच्चा रह गया तो फिर अगेन करियर में डिस्टर्बेंसेस आ जाते हैं. तो ये सब बहुत डिफिकल्टी है. So what happens nowadays? Even our Indian law is permitting us that you can preserve your eggs for future fertilization. Now why you want to preserve your egg? कोई पूछेगा डॉक्टर साहब हम 34 के हो जाएंगे तभी एग्स यूज करो आप.
जी.
तो समझ लो द बेस्ट टाइम फॉर गेटिंग प्रेगनेंसी इज, हमारे बुजुर्ग लोग बोलते थे ना, 20 से 30 में.
जी.
That is the best time, to 20 to 30. Now as I told, we are in the different era. वो लड़की को, वो फीमेल को तो खुद का करियर भी बनाना है, बच्चे तो तुरंत नहीं चाहिए उसको. So इसमें ये this cryopreservation has made a very good thing by you can preserve your eggs. तो उसमें क्या करते हैं, with according to the law हम उस फीमेल को स्टिमुलेट कर सकते हैं, उसके एग्स बना सकते हैं और वो एग्स पिकअप कर सकते हैं और वो प्रिजर्व कर सकते हैं, क्रायो प्रिजर्व कर सकते हैं. Then if she can use her eggs later on in her I mean 35 38 की हो गई तो भी 40s में भी वो अपने एग्स यूज कर सकती है. तब तक उसका यूट्रस अच्छा रहता है और उसमें वो एग्स बढ़ सकते हैं. क्योंकि सबसे ज्यादा इफेक्ट अगर होता है फीमेल जेनेटल सिस्टम पे तो वो होता है ओवरीज पे. That's
Okay.
why और eggs पे. तो इसलिए this has made a big change, and females can preserve their eggs and have fertility on in later life.
Absolutely. As you said, definitely this sounds like a great boon to the society, especially in this modern era, as you mentioned. I still, whenever the parents or people with a higher age group, they still don't believe this is some kind of a story from a science fiction movie. Something like this also is happening, but it's great that something like this has happened, and it's very beneficial to the society.
Yes, Payal, girls should understand this. I definitely, would like that girls should stand on their own. They should be self-sufficient. But at the same time, this fertility issue is very important. I see people
Yeah.
at the age of 40, they are well settled, they have a lot of money, but again, they are very much frustrated because they don't have kid. So
Right.
if you want to manage all the things, this is one scientific thing which you can use. Okay,
Correct.
so you can preserve your eggs and you can use later on, and that is going to come. That is going to become very common in coming days, and I think the modern girls will use this facility. This was basically used for those cancer patients, young females
Mhm.
having some cancer, and in that case, if you need to give them some radiotherapy or chemotherapy, in that female they used to do this procedure. They used to preserve eggs and then they used to give this cancer treatment, that is chemo and radiotherapy, because these cells, that means these ovas are ovas in the ovaries, or ovaries are very much sensitive, and once you
Right.
expose that patient to radiation or chemotherapy, that cell get damaged. Hence this was the method used for those patients. In that case, we can even cryopreserve the ovarian tissue also. You can
Okay.
operate, remove the ovarian part, and you can cryopreserve them. Again, after a few years, once her treatment is completed, you can take that ovarian tissue. Again, you can implant in her body, and you can take eggs from that also. This is the
Okay.
thing which we can do.
Great. Thank you so much, Dr. Marathe, for letting us know such great things. I'm sure a lot of people would, after seeing this video, they would get a lot of information about this. Now, जैसे कि आपने कहा, already आपने बहुत सारे examples, बहुत सारे use cases हमें दे चुके हैं कि cryopreservation में होता क्या है, क्या क्या चीज़ों को freeze किया जाता है. For example, बहुत सारे misconception है. There are many a times we receive mails from our followers and in the subscriber list about embryo freezing. So there is a misconception out there that only the embryos are frozen. But you mentioned about egg freezing, you mentioned about sperm freezing, and obvious the embryo freezing. So can you just, since you have already said that, can you just help us summarizing this thing? Like, what are the things frozen in the process of cryopreservation, which ultimately helps in the ultimate reproduction process?
As if considering the reproduction, as I told you, you can freeze the semen, so you can
Okay.
retrieve the sperms later on. You can freeze the ovas, that is eggs,
Okay.
okay, that you can use later on, and even you can fertilize the cryopreserve the embryos, which you can use later on
Okay.
multiple occasions as you want a kid. But cryopreservation is a technology which can also be used for organ donation like thing. If an organ has to be donated to some, for let us take example of a kidney. After one you remove the kidney from the donor, you need to cryopreserve it. Okay, only the methods are different. But these organs which are transplanted, they are also cryopreserved for some
Okay.
specific time. If the donor is in Chennai and the recipient is in Mumbai, so you need to do like this, and you cryopreserve and you can transport that. Though transporting from such a long distance, it's not feasible in India, but in Europe you can do it, or in developed countries they do it very routinely. But you might have heard a lot of stories in Chennai and Bangalore. The things have been gone like that.
Yes.
From one hospital to other, they are transported
Yeah.
like that. So that is also cryopreserved. So that the biological activity remains, it doesn't deteriorate, and that organs or cells doesn't degrade.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Dr. Marathe. Now talking about misconception, talking about the doubts associated with this process. Uh, there are a lot of people still, they have a kind of they're very skeptical about this entire process of IVF. First of all, they say the success rate is quite low, and over and above that, when we talk about cryopreservation and utilizing the embryos or semen or the eggs which are cryopreserved and utilizing that for the IVF process, there are a lot of thought process mentioning that would that not reduce the success rate of the cycle? So what are the risks, and what can you talk about the so-called success rate, or are there any specific benefits of using this over the conditional IVF like you mentioned?
Very, very good question. As you know, the IVF has worldwide, the IVF rates are, I mean, success rate is 45 to 60%. It varies. But if any, I always tell my patient, if a doctor is telling that I give 80%, 90%, then he's lying. We are doctors. We are sitting here and people are, observing as God is speaking, and you should always speak what is truth. I think you are in that profession, you should always be truth. You
Right.
should true to your patients, like, and you cannot just falsely comment that 80 तक 90% आपका पॉजिटिव आ जाएगा, ये बोलना गलत है,
जी.
क्योंकि दुनिया भर में बेस्ट सेंटर्स में भी होता नहीं ऐसा कुछ. ओके,
Right.
नाउ एज यू सेड, तो जो आईवीएफ का सक्सेस रेट है वो 40 से 60, ये वैरी होते रहता है, डिपेंड्स. अभी सक्सेस रेट किस बात पे डिपेंड रहेगा? वो पेशेंट का एज कितना है, उसके एग्स कितने बचे हुए हैं, उसका फैक्टर क्या है, फीमेल फैक्टर है, मेल फैक्टर है, उसका यूट्रस कैसा है, उसका लाइनिंग कैसा है. So everything has to be taken into consideration. So generalized rate is success rate is 40 to 60%. Now you were saying that patients have a lot of patient are very much anxious, क्या उसका rate और कम हो जाएगा क्या?
Right.
It is not like that. It's exactly opposite. Cryopreservation has increased the rate of IVF, success rate of IVF. How? Because as I told you, once you stimulate and you get 7-8 embryos, तो आगे आपको सिर्फ ट्रांसफर करना है. उसमें दो इंपॉर्टेंट प्रोसीजर रहती है, 2 बार ओटी में जाना पड़ता है आईवीएफ प्रोसेस में. एक होता है एक पिकअप के लिए, विच इज डन अंडर एनेस्थीसिया, एक निडल से अंडर अल्ट्रासोनोग्राफी गाइडेंस एग्स रिट्रीव किए जाते हैं. ये प्रोसेस में वो फीमेल को एक तो पहले 10 दिन इंजेक्शन लेना पड़ता है, एंड देन शी हैज टू अंडरगो एनेस्थीसिया, उसको बेहोश किया जाता है और फिर वो एग्स निकालने की प्रोसेस की जाती है. वो प्रोसेस भी 15-20 मिनट्स की होती है और शी कैन वॉक होम विद इन 2 आवर्स फ्रॉम द हॉस्पिटल. लेकिन जो ट्रांसफर की प्रोसेस होती है वो काफी सिंपल प्रोसेस, एम्ब्रियो ट्रांसफर की जो प्रोसेस, उसमें शी कैन कम वॉकिंग टू द हॉस्पिटल. जस्ट एम्ब्रियो ट्रांसफर करने की प्रोसेस ओटी में होती है, उसको ना बेहोश किया जाता है ना कोई एनेस्थीसिया दिया जाता है. एक 10 मिनट्स की प्रोसेस होती है एंड शी कैन वॉक होम इमीडिएटली आफ्टर द प्रोसेस. सो क्रायो प्रिजर्वेशन की वजह से द डिफिकल्ट प्रोसेस वो एक पिकअप किए, ओम पिकअप किए, दैट इज डन ओनली वंस. एंड ट्रांसफर की
Okay.
प्रोसेस है विच इज absolutely zero pain. It is painless, that you can do 3 or 4 times. So in one cycle, you can transfer twice, thrice, or 4 times, and that's why the cumulative success rate goes up to 90%. तो
Okay.
काफी बार काफी डॉक्टर बोलते हैं हम क्यूमुलेटिव सक्सेस रेट की बात करते हैं डॉक्टर, हम 90% जब बोलते हैं ना पेशेंट को आप 90% प्रेग्नेंट हो जाओगी, तो अब ये क्रायो प्रिजर्वेशन की वजह से वो क्यूमुलेटिव सक्सेस रेट, एक में नहीं हुआ तो दूसरे ट्रांसफर में हो जाओगी, दूसरे में नहीं हुआ तो थर्ड ट्रांसफर में हो जाओगी. सो इन ऑल 3-4 ट्रांसफर शी गेट प्रेग्नेंट. सो दैट इज 90%. सो
Okay.
दिस इज हाउ द क्रायो प्रिजर्वेशन हैज डेफिनेटली हेल्प. अदर व्हाट यू सेड दैट उसका कुछ असर होता है क्या एम्ब्रियोज पे?
Right.
डेफिनेटली. अगर वो प्रिजर्वेशन की प्रोसेस मीन विट्रिफिकेशन की प्रोसेस, जिसमें हम in that process we reduce the temperature, and thawing, in that process we increase the temperature, I mean we again bring from minus 175 or 180 to room temperature or body temperature. That process may damage the embryos, but again that depends upon the lab, the skills of that embryologist, and again in 10 out of 10, 2 3 they are bound to, I mean, get damaged in this process. So
Okay.
definitely there are a few risks this which are associated with cryopreservation and thawing. Definitely.
Great. Thank you so much, Dr. Marathe, for answering all our questions simply. I'm sure a lot of people will get to know various important things. And also, I would like to request all the viewers who are watching it and who will be watching this video, if you
Yes,
feel
definitely.
this
I
topic,
tried to make it simple by
yeah,
using simple words, not going in deep scientific processes. I think the
yes.
question which people very routinely ask me about cryopreservation, I tried to make them understand in simple language, which I told today. Thank you so
Absolutely. And
much.
that was very much needed. That was very much needed. And that's what I was requesting all. So if you feel this particular information would help any of your relative friends, please do share this video with them, and let them, if they have any more questions, they can definitely come back to us. So, Dr. Marathi, with your permission, we have got some questions in the comment section and also in the
Yes.
inbox. We can take those. Mm, so, one question from Ms. Dipali. She has also, just now you have mentioned about the risk associated. I know about that as well. What are the risks associated with cryopres? They can be minimized.
Yes, many times recovery is not 100%. If you cryopreserve four embryos, you don't get four embryos in good intact condition. Many times you may there depends upon which lab you are all this
Yeah.
process and who is involved in that because the skills are involved and the process is time bound has to be done very skillfully and in very given specific time. Again, what media you are using, what cryoprotectant you are using, which company you are using, a lot of things are involved in that, and definitely risks are there. But if you choose a wise doctor, definitely things will be good.
Thank you. Thank you, Dipali, for the question. And thank you, Dr. Marathe. One question we have received from Sheetal in our inbox. वो पूछना चाह रही हैं कि कैसे पता चलता है कि जो एम्ब्रियो को फ्रीज किया गया है वो सही है, और कितने महीने या कितने साल तक उसको यूज किया जाता है.
ओके, एम्ब्रियो आप फ्रीज किया वो सही है क्या? वो तो जब हम एम्ब्रियो को वापस बाहर निकालेंगे, मीन्स थॉ करेंगे, वार्म करेंगे, तब वो अंडर माइक्रोस्कोप पता चल जाता है कि एम्ब्रियो कुछ डैमेज हुआ है क्या क्या.
अच्छा.
उसमें आप यू कैन मेक इट आउट फ्रॉम अंडर माइक्रोस्कोप क्या इट इज इन गुड कंडीशन और नॉट. तो वो पता चल जाता है क्योंकि उसका फिजिकल अपीयरेंस से आपको पता चल जाता है वो कैसे दिख रहा है, उसपे से पता चलता है कि एम्ब्रियोस डैमेज है या नॉर्मल है. That was the answer to your first question. Second, how many years you can cryopreserve? Up to 10 years you can cryopreserve.
Okay. All right. So one more question is from Snehashish. What? Once again. Okay. Does all the cells which are cryopreserved survive?
Definitely, all since that embryo is intact. Now, you whether you cryopreserve 8 cell stage embryo, day 3 embryo, or blastocyst like day 5 embryo, that depends upon that. Because day 5 embryos has multiple cells, and day 3 embryo have less cells. So definitely, that cells are that is an intact thing. So if get damaged, the whole thing will get damaged. And if it is has to be good, the whole thing is good.
All right. Thank you, Snasius, for that question. And thank you so much, Dr. Marathe, for answering all the questions. I am sure there would be many more questions as well. So, for now, we have got this many questions, but I would request people who would be watching this video, if you have any more questions, if you would be coming up with more questions, please do write to us in www.puberty to Menom. We'll surely get back to you with an accurate and absolute answer. So, with this, I would sincerely like to thank Dr. Umesh Marathe for his time and for his wonderful insights. We had a lovely time talking to you today, sir. And I'm
Same here.
sure a lot of people would really know a lot about this. And we would love to see you more on We Talk Do You show with upcoming topics as well. Uh, with this, I really thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I also thank all our viewers who have joined us live and who will be watching this video in future. If you want us to bring out more such videos on any other topic that you would like to know, please do write to us. will surely organize another We Talk Do You with a leading healthcare expert of our country. Thank you so much, everyone, and wish you a very